Next is from Ryan G, and the subject is Disco. Disco, what is your explanation on TV viewership in the heyday of TNA compared to AEW against Raw? TNA at its best averaged 1.5 million to 5 million for Raw. Let's put that in perspective. AEW's averaged 800K since NXT moved to Tuesdays, including the dates at 10 p.m. for the NBA Finals. Raw's averaged 1.6 million. Not saying AEW is going to take over the wrestling world, but let's be real, Disco. TNA never came close, and AEW is on the right path. 15K at New York City, biggest crowd that is not WWE since WCW 1999. Wake up, Disco. These people try to like explain to me like I don't know what I'm talking about, but here's all I'm saying. Okay, if you want to look at a little window of a few weeks of TV, it's like that's fine. But I look at the trends over time, and I still always go back every single time to the data in the Variety article, which shows that 80% of the wrestling fans that used to watch wrestling don't watch anymore. If you can start tapping back into that audience and get some of those people back, I was okay. We're doing something correct. I'll tell you right now. I think they
kind of are.
Okay,
you know, you see less stupid comedy on SmackDown.
Right.
You see less on AEW. You know.
Right, and it's going to take time. But here's the thing I would say, bro. Every year when we take a month and we look at the previous months, the previous year for the wrestling audience is down. Show me a year when that audience is up from the previous year, and I will say, okay, we're on to something here. But you'll know it because you'll see the reactions, you'll see the less criticism of shows, you'll see you'll see it happen. But
so let me give you the other side of the argument. We've talked about this before, but also you would agree that everybody doesn't watch TV anymore. There's other platforms they can watch it on. And you would also agree that almost every other show is down from 10, 15, 20 years ago. Okay. And then the other thing is, a lot of people are making a lot of money off of wrestling right now. I'm one of them. You know what I'm saying? And you're making money off of too on keeping it 100, right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'm not going to argue that. That's what I said. Like, there's always because of these new revenue streams for people like us, where we can podcast. So this formula of creating a live entertaining show that we can piggyback a bunch of things off of that will always exist. That's why I said wrestling's not going to fall. It's not going to disappear. It'll always exist in some type of iteration. But my whole thing is like, my criticism of this is a very general question that the guy's asking. My criticisms have always been very specific. Like we will criticize them. I'll talk about things that I think are causing viewership to stagnate. I like a lot of this. The other people don't want to talk about, don't want to say. I think the work has a lot to do with it. Right. I think a lot of the spots that these guys have, that a lot of the wrestlers have they do on a regular basis, visually hurts the product from drawing new fans. And I could argue that ad nauseum,
Right, because it looks choreographed like bad stunt work.
Right, exactly. And if you have 9 hours of TV in a week and a lot of it looked like that, it's like you're not going to get people to watch that aren't interested in stuff like that.
Or before it was hard. It was hard for the to look choreographed because everything was grappling, everything was on the mat, everything was snug, everything took time, and as everything, and there's a metamorphosis now. There's more high flying, there's hardcore matches. You have a lot more people in the business that aren't trained properly. There's a lot of factors.
And here's one thing that me and Konnan, this is how the culture of the business has kind of changed because, like, bro, if we went and worked, right, and we were in front of a big crowd, there was 7,000-8,000 people there. And even though we always get, when the crowds were hot, we would always get good. We'd have good matches, the crowd be in and everything. But if we fucked up a spot, like if you screwed up a spot, when you came back, regardless of how hot that crowd was, you'd be like, God, man, you'd be upset about screwing up you'd be upset about it, right? I watched some of these matches and stuff, and like, see, these guys will screw up a spot, and the match will be rated like 3 3/4, 4 stars. And I'm like, bro, I would not have gotten like that type of okay, if somebody said, hey, your match was 4 stars, I wouldn't sit to say like, oh, cool, it didn't matter if I screwed up that spot and everything. I just think what happens is like a lot of these guys still use these bad habits, and a lot of the people praise the work, but they ignore the details of the things that people the bad habits that they still do wrong.
Well, I wonder if they even know what to look for, and they're not as analytical as we are, because we're ex wrestlers, so we're more with like a, you know what I'm saying?
Right. And you want perfect example. Watch this, okay? Because this is say Daniel Bryan, okay, comes back to work for AEW. Right. It'd be very interesting to see the type of matches he's going to have with these guys. Okay, because like, you know, Daniel Bryan was a Ring of Honor guy, right? But bro, he works WWE style now. You know, very, very snug on the wrestling, very, you know, it's just like it's a lot of details polished, timing down, you know, very detailed on the finish and spots and timing stuff. You know, he works like that. A lot of the guys that he might be working with, maybe some of these younger guys from the indies, stuff, you know, they don't have that experience that he does.
Yeah, but I don't think they're going to put him in with those guys. I think they'll put him in with guys that can, you know, they're good workers, whether it's Omega or, you know what I'm saying, or Jericho or maybe CM Punk or, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be people that can go, bro. I mean, I don't think he's going to have any problem.